In this video, we will explain why iTools, dealing with services and products dedicated to business management, wants to use Odoo accounting. Nick Olson, the founder, already uses the sales and CRM applications. Now he wants to push it a bit further and manage his journal entries. What will we treat in this video? We will show you how journal entries are automatically generated from invoices, and we will teach you how to encode a miscellaneous entry all by yourself. Start by creating a customer invoice and select a few items that you are going to sell. We will select a product, we will add a price to it, we will save, and we will validate and update the invoice to apply taxes. On validation, the journal entry will automatically be created in Odoo. How can you see this entry? Just click the tab Other Info, and here you have the journal entry and the number that has been generated. You can simply click it and have a look at the lines that have been created automatically by Odoo. So that's the easy part where journal entries are automatically generated. A second option is that you create a miscellaneous entry all by yourself. We have here a customer invoice. Now let's also create a supplier invoice, and the example of a miscellaneous entry I'm going to show you, which might often happen in your company, is that you have a supplier who is also your customer, and you have to pay your supplier a certain amount, but as a customer, he has to pay you an amount as well. So before paying the entire supplier invoice and waiting for the entire customer payment to arrive, you can already reconcile both entries. This is what we're going to do through a miscellaneous entry. A prerequisite for miscellaneous entries is, of course, that you have created a miscellaneous journal, which you can find in Configuration, Journals, Journals, and here you will see a miscellaneous journal. Let's create a supplier invoice for the same supplier. So first of all, we will indicate according to the customer invoice created here. We will say that Blue Hotel is also a supplier. Therefore, we go into the customer form, we click supplier, and we click save. Now we're going to create a supplier invoice for Blue Hotel as well. Let's add a line. Let's give it a price. Let's say 800. Let's save and update the taxes. And let's validate the supplier invoice. Now we will reconcile both invoices. So when we look at Blue Hotel, on the accounting tab, we see that there's a total receivable of 1150 and a total payable of 920. Instead of paying the 920 to the supplier, we're going to reconcile and just wait for the remaining customer payment. So how do we do that? We go to Journal Entries, Journal Entries. We click Create. We select the journal. You can either click the black arrow and select the journal from the list, or you can just start typing and then select the corresponding journal. Here we can enter a reference. For instance, customer supply. We add a reference. We select the partner. The account is automatically proposed. In this case, it's the debtor's account, but for our first line, we will use the creditor's account. We enter the debit amount of the supplier invoice. We press enter, and as you see, the amount is already proposed, yeah, because the entry needs to be balanced. So for the debtor's account, we will also encode the same amount as for the supplier invoice. And we post the entry. Okay. Now we will reconcile these two invoices manually. So we go to periodic processing, reconciliation, manual reconciliation. And we select Blue Hotel, which is automatically proposed. We are going to reconcile the miscellaneous entry of the creditor's account against the purchase journal. So we tick these two lines. And why do we do this? We select them just to consider the supplier invoice as paid, although it hasn't been paid, but as explained before, we just want to keep the remaining amount as a difference between customer invoice and supplier invoice. So we click reconcile and reconcile again. And now you see that these two entries disappear. Now, what can we do? As you see, there's still 1150, which has been reconciled with 920. So we can reconcile these entries as well, but then as a partial reconciliation. So we click reconcile and we click partial reconcile because we are still waiting for the $230 to be paid by our customer. So we click partial reconcile. And as you see, the entries will remain here. You will see the reconcile reference and the balance of the customer invoice will be at 230. So if we look at the customer invoice for Blue Hotel, we will see that the balance is 230 and that the invoice status is still open, while the supplier invoice with the full reconciliation is paid. That's what it takes to create your own miscellaneous entries.